Welcome back to the channel. The Australian 2-cent coin is one of the most nostalgic pieces of modern Australian coinage. Small in size, rich in color, and filled with history. The 1994 issue stands out not only for its beauty but for its timing, marking the end of an era for a denomination that had served the nation faithfully for nearly 3 decades. When the 2-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, Australia was celebrating its transition to decimal currency. The change replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence with a modern and simplified monetary system based on dollars and cents. The 2-cent coin quickly became part of daily life, a familiar companion in pockets, purses, and cash registers across the country. By 1994, however, times had changed. Inflation had reduced the coin's buying power, and production costs were rising. That year would become the last year the Royal Australian Mint officially issued 2-cent coins for circulation. The 1994 mintage, therefore, is a poignant farewell to one of Australia's most iconic coins. The 2-cent coin was beautifully designed by Stuart Devlin, one of Australia's most celebrated artists and the official goldsmith to Queen Elizabeth II. On the reverse side, the coin features the frilled neck lizard, a uniquely Australian creature known for its dramatic, fan-like frill. This design perfectly captured the spirit of the country's wild and distinctive nature. Even in circulated condition, the frilled neck lizard remains a captivating sight. The way Devlin depicted its curved tail and textured body gives a sense of motion and personality. The flowing lines of the design blend naturally with the circular shape of the coin, creating harmony between art and metal. On the obverse side, the 1994 2-cent coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf. This portrait, used from 1985 to 1998, shows the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, an elegant crown adorned with jewels and floral emblems. The engraving captures her in a calm and regal pose, facing right. Surrounding her portrait is the inscription, Elizabeth II Australia 1994. Even in well-circulated examples, these words remain readable, their letters softened slightly by time and touch. The combination of royal imagery and native wildlife gives the coin a perfect balance between British heritage and Australian identity. The coin's metal composition adds to its charm. Struck in 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, the 2-cent piece has a warm reddish-brown tone that deepens as it ages. In circulated condition, this color evolves beautifully, transforming from bright copper to darker shades of brown or chocolate, depending on storage and handling. A well-circulated 1994 coin often shows smooth wear on the lizard's frill and tail. These softened areas tell a story of decades of use, of coins passed from hand to hand, exchanged countless times in markets, shops, and everyday transactions. Each small scratch and tone variation adds personality and history to the coin. The coin measures 21.59 millimeters in diameter and weighs 5.2 grams, giving it a pleasing heft despite its small size. Its plain edge provides a smooth tactile experience, a small design choice that made it easy to identify by touch among other denominations. In circulated condition, the 1994 issue reveals a variety of beautiful natural tones. Some examples exhibit dark brown surfaces with subtle reddish undertones, while others show traces of their original copper brilliance, especially around the lettering and high points. Collectors often describe circulated coins as alive, each carrying marks that reflect real human interaction. The 1994 2-cent coin fits that description perfectly. It's not just metal, it's memory. Each example has its own story, its own path through time. The decision to withdraw the 1 and 2-cent coins from circulation came shortly after 1994. As their purchasing power dwindled and rounding rules were introduced, these small copper coins quietly disappeared from everyday use. But they never disappeared from people's hearts or collections. For many Australians, the 2-cent coin evokes childhood memories, buying sweets at the corner store, collecting change, or saving coins in jars. Holding one today instantly transports you back to simpler times, when these copper pieces were part of daily life. In circulated condition, the coin's details may have softened, but its essence remains untouched. The frilled lizard, though worn, still commands attention with its dynamic form and graceful curves. The Queen's portrait, though slightly faded, still conveys dignity and continuity. Over time, natural oxidation on copper creates a protective layer known as patina. On many 1994 coins, this results in a velvety finish that enhances the color depth. Far from being a flaw, this is often considered a mark of authenticity and age, the true signature of circulation. Collectors value these coins not just for rarity but for sentiment. The 1994 issue, being the last of its kind, holds a special place in Australian numismatic history. It marks the end of an important chapter, the conclusion of the small copper coin era. When examined under good lighting, a circulated coin reveals intricate textures, the fine grain of the metal, the shallow impressions of the design, and the interplay of light and shadow on its surface. These visual details remind us that even everyday coins are works of miniature sculpture. The Royal Australian Mint struck millions of 2-cent coins in 1994, yet finding one in nice circulated condition today is becoming less common. Many have been lost, melted, or kept as souvenirs. Each surviving example is a small historical artifact, preserved through chance and memory. Though its face value is low, the 2-cent coin carries immense cultural worth. It connects modern collectors to the early days of Australia's decimal currency and to the artistry of Devlin and Maclauff, who transformed everyday change into lasting design. When you hold a 1994 2-cent coin in your hand, you're holding the very last chapter of a story that began in 1966. Its color, texture, and wear are proof of its journey, a journey through decades of Australian life. And while it may no longer circulate, its legacy continues to shine. The coin remains a cherished piece among collectors, historians, and anyone who appreciates the beauty hidden in ordinary objects. The 1994 Australian 2-cent coin reminds us that value isn't always measured in dollars. Sometimes, it's found in memory, design, and the simple joy of holding a piece of the past that still speaks, softly, across time.